Namo Buddhaya. Just a couple of things before I look at the questions to discuss. The fellow we went to see yesterday, he died, as was expected. That's why we went to see him. So we are all of the nature to age, of the nature to get sick, and of the nature to die. We get old, we get sick, we die. This is a result, a direct result of the condition of birth. So no surprise there, but it's great to be in touch with this reality, and this understanding of the nature of life is where we can find freedom and liberation from that which ties us to this repetition, this samsara it is called, this cycle of rebirth. Now you don't have to believe in that, because you can understand that right in this lifetime itself, how we are continuously reborn, giving ourselves rebirth in new situations. Like I have been reborn in Thailand as a result of the causes and conditions that have led me to be here. They were none that I put in place myself. All I did was practice as best I could, and I'm not saying I do everything correctly or wrongly. I have no opinion. I just try my best to practice sila, samadhi and panya. As a result of doing that for some years now, I ended up in India, then I ended up here in Thailand. Well, first Thailand, then somewhere else. And this is a result of our conditions, and in itself rebirth in this lifetime. And you can see that for yourselves. So the fellow, I will not say his name, but I wish that he has a fortunate and happy rebirth, and many blessings to his family, whom to some extent will have a great deal of relief, because palliative care here is offered in the home with the family in the sitting room. It's not going off to a special centre, which is a very nice and comforting thought. And next, my next point, before I go on to the questions, this morning, a whole group of lovely Thai families and people, some that I think may be local, some have come from further away, were here this morning offering dana, sangha dana, food, and they had a lady who spoke good English and was able to ask some questions, and the same question came up as always comes up. And I'd given this some thought yesterday actually when I was sweeping. I asked myself this very same question. Now, one of the advantages of doing this exercise that I'm doing with you here, making these videos, answering these questions, is that I get the opportunity to ask myself those questions. And one way you can practice in terms of mental development, developing wholesome mind states, is through reflection, like I've spoken about before. And this reflection can be done at the end of the day, not necessarily in place of meditation, but it could be, but before your meditation at the end of the day. The best time to meditate is at the beginning of the day, when your mind is unhindered from what was happening during the former hours. But what was I saying? Yes, so I was thinking of this question yesterday, and it came up this morning. The question of how you came to be, why are you a monk, and then why here, and so on and so forth. Well, the why here and wheres and hows and wherefores I've just answered in conditionality. This is karma, if you like. This is the cause and effect, how I ended up here. But why did I become a monk? Now I have a very long answer, and if you read the description on these videos, I always just copy and paste the same thing, to be honest with you, so you may have seen it, or it's the description of this channel, which does need updating and changing. I apologise for that, but I'm not that excited about administration. I shall do it, because it was something I did on the spur of a moment now a few months ago, and I had to keep it under 1,000 words, and that was my whole life I put into under 1,000 words. My whole life to then. Well, lots happened since then. Causes and conditions, but it's still going to have to be under 1,000 words. Yeah, I've gone astray a bit there, but I didn't want to try and give them this, if you speak that 1,000 words, it would sound a little bit abrupt, like a list. So yeah, I asked myself this question: why am I a monk? I'm sweeping, yes, and I'm doing the paths, and it's the most beautiful thing to do here. These forests are wonderful. I mean, they've got snakes and all the usual creatures, but not so many biting insects. I think it's because it's right on the coast. You get this nice sea breeze coming through the forest, through the trees, and it's very well aerated like that. Yeah, why am I a monk? I gave myself a very simple answer, and or I really started the question: how is it being a monk? I thought, well, it's really wonderful. I'm really happy. And why did I want to become a monk? Well, to be happy. And the Buddha said, don't take it from me or any teacher. Try it for yourself. So I thought, well, I'll do that. I'll try it. And you know what happened when I tried it? It worked. I became happy. Now, I hadn't ordained. I was living as a lay person in monasteries and out of monasteries, but keeping the 8 precepts and then gradually developing on that and staying more and more here in Thailand firstly, and then eventually in India. But the result of those causes that I put in place made me happy. Or to be more precise, I was content. And contentment is the cause and results in happiness. So why do I want to become a monk? I was asked this morning. And I was able to very confidently answer that question with to become happy, or to be happy. And just an add-on, to be happy, and I tried it like the Buddha suggested we do, and it worked. And that was my answer, which was so more understood, and I hope you understand that answer, than my big long explanation of my former lives, what I was doing in this life, because I've had many rebirths in this life, and my whole explanation as to how I started with meditation, and it was missing something, and then I tried this, and then I tried that, and then I found this, and then I found that. Really quite boring. Why did I become a monk? Why am I a monk? Why did I want to become a monk? Just simple, to be happy. And now I am. Now here, of course, in Thailand, this is just another whole room of smiles with an answer like that, because they understand it deeply within themselves. They've grown up. It's this country's religion. But it's not only their religion, it's their life. It's their understanding. It's their education, their politics, their, what's that thing called? The royal realm, I'm not sure. Everything revolves around this practice, without praying, without worship, this practice of Sila Samadhi Panya and this understanding. So now my answer to that question is to be happy, and it works. And I can say that from a place of absolute confidence, because it's still working. And actually, it's one of these things you can't make it not work. Once you know, it's one of these things, once you know, you cannot unknow it. The truth known is the truth. It cannot then be changed. To some extent, if you really learn to speak fluently a foreign language, you cannot then go into a room where they're speaking that language and not understand them. You're going to understand them, however hard you try. This is the beauty of the Buddha's teachings. They're so simple, and it's the truth. So that was my answer. And then they always ask here, how long are you going to become a monk? Because you have temporary ordinations here. From anything from 3 weeks these days, or a month, to 3 months, to 3 years, or not necessarily 3s, but that tends to be a thing. But no, I purposely did not have temporary ordination here, because I wanted to save my ordination for when I was absolutely sure it was a lifetime commitment. Now, there is nothing different. There is no lifetime commitment vow in our ordination process. It is something we do ourselves in our own adhitthana, determination. My determination was, if I ever become a monk, it will be for life, because for me it involves total renunciation, the letting go, the giving up of everything worldly. Now, I've really gone on talking rather too long before answering any questions. So I think what I'll do is I'll split the video. It makes it easier parcels for you to watch, and it might be easier in the uploading process. Actually, I can't see that's going to make any difference, but I will stop and then go on to the questions in the next video, which will immediately follow this video. So in the meantime, I will say to you, having made those 2 points which were nothing to do with your questions, things I wanted to talk about, I will wish you all the best with your practice and send you many blessings with metta. Be well and be happy. Sukhi Hotu, Sukhi Hotu, Sukhi Hotu.